They're coming to get you.
Welcome to the Fear Central podcast. That's Heather over there.
That's Chris.
And that's Paul over there. And that's Mike over there.
And here I am. And we're sitting around.
We are.
Not in that order.
Well, we're more sitting square, I think, though.
Ish.
Semicircle?
Semi?
If we wanted an audience, they could be right there.
They could be. We could have a live audience right there. We do. The plants.
For the benefit of the listeners, I made a motion and pointed over there.
Right over there.
Yeah.
Do you think they saw it?
I don't think so.
Do you think they looked?
Unless there are hidden cameras all around this living room.
Possible.
They could have been.
No.
Over there?
Impossible.
Where?
I don't know. We've all got our electronic devices, so we're being watched by somebody.
Kim? Possible?
Oh, Lord.
How old are you?
4.
Okay.
But yes, it is a new week and a new show. And this week, we decided to follow along Paul's footsteps. And
Baby steps.
yeah, that's how you get forward, move forward. Can't jump or run. Baby steps.
You definitely want to see this girl run. I would die. First thing, just fall over.
So, what do we choose to do this week, Paul?
While we were researching topics for this week, I got a list of the bottom 50 movies on Rotten Tomatoes, by score. For those who, there's a lot of misconceptions about how Rotten Tomatoes works, but it's percentages based on positive and negative reviews. It's not kind of a one-to-one thing. Basically, Rotten Tomatoes takes a look at the review, sees the numeric score or reads the review and then decides that was a pass or that was a fail, and then uses those percentages to say that this movie is so many percent fresh or so many percent rotten.
Right.
The ones that are on this list are all under 20, I believe.
Most ones I saw, yeah.
Yeah. Like there were some zeros in there.
See, I personally feel that Rotten Tomatoes score is backwards. Because I would think that the more Rotten Tomatoes thrown would be the worse score.
Okay. But
because that's what happens is you throw the Rotten Tomatoes, and the more you get thrown, the worse the people are, the performance.
Well, you should let them know it's not a perfect analogy.
It's true.
Yeah.
So.
But, yeah, the higher it is, it goes from a smashed tomato that's green all the way up to, is it a bag of tomatoes?
Is it a bag?
Whenever it's like 100%?
I don't think I've ever seen a bag. I've only just seen single tomatoes.
You never look at 100% fresh, huh?
No, not really. That just means critics are wrong and it's going to be a good movie.
What is a fresh one? There's a 94%.
And
it's got a little moon behind it and a really nice looking tomato, if you're into that type of thing. I am not a tomato fan.
Attack.
Except for Return
of
of the Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Rotten Tomatoes.
Anyways. So we all took some time, looked at the list, and found things that we like, and we're kind of providing some justice for some movies that the critics panned.
Right. So we've each picked one or two films that we believe did not deserve to be on this list.
Yeah. For one reason or another.
And we will defend our movie.
Yes.
So, moving on.
Moving on. Who wants to start?
I think Heather should start because she's got 2.
Heather does have 2.
Paul has 2 as well.
And they're both in the same universe.
Ooh.
Yes. So, my first one is Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Ooh, part 8.
Part 8.
Okay. How does that one begin?
It's a boat on Camp Crystal Lake.
He's on a boat?
No, not yet.
Oh.
Okay.
And it catches like an underwater power line and causes a short, which therein lies the problem, because then that shock from the cable awakens Jason from the lake.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, the boat is in the lake?
Yeah.
That's how it starts.
That's how it starts.
The boat is in the lake.
What type of boat are we talking about?
Cruise liner.
Yeah.
In the
Called
lake?
the
In the lake.
Lazarus.
Yeah.
In the
The
lake.
one he drowned in.
Yep. That's what it says.
No, not the one he drowned in. The one that's just there.
Okay.
Because the boat anchor hits the line.
Yeah.
And it causes a short
Okay.
in the bottom of Camp Crystal Lake.
Okay.
And on the boat are a bunch of graduating high school seniors taking a boat
Are they honor
trip.
students? Very academic? Not partiers at all?
Well, there's one that's pretty even killed, but the
okay.
rest are, And so
Always have to have that one.
always have that one. But so these high school kids are on this boat. They're going on a senior trip to Manhattan on a boat, and Jason is awakened and he climbs on board, and then that's where all hell breaks loose. He kills one with a harpoon. He strips one naked. And I didn't quite understand that part. Like, why did he actually strip her naked in the bathroom instead of just leaving her the way she was and killing her with a bathroom mirror?
Well, Jason listens to his producers.
Well, yeah, I guess you got to have some boobs in there too.
Oh, yeah. Gotta have boobs. It's a Friday the 13th.
I'm telling you. And so, like, the main character in the movie, her name in the movie is Rennie, is terrified of water because she almost drowned when she was a child, and she's on this. She wasn't going to go on the trip, and then she decides she's going to go. And she keeps having these dreams about the little kid dying and drowning in the lake. So
That sounds like Jason.
I know, doesn't it? And so, they're on this boat, and he starts killing. He kills a girl in the bathroom, kills the captain of the boat. He kills other students on a dance floor, throws one of them over the captain's quarters and onto the deck post, so it impales him. It's pretty fun. And yes, I will give you this. The 90% of the whole movie is on the boat.
Okay.
And not in Manhattan.
Well,
But they do make it to Manhattan.
They make it there.
Okay.
A few of them.
Does Jason take it at that point?
He tries. He kills. So they get to Manhattan. And it's Rennie, the main character, her overprotective uncle, a teacher, and two students, her boyfriend and another kid. Well, they get off the boat, and they run into crackheads who abduct Rennie and inject her with glowing green drugs.
Like from Reanimator?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
And so she starts tripping balls, and then they're having to fight Jason. One kid gets killed, and then they have to find a police officer, and then it's just Jason chasing these two kids around Manhattan. He runs into thugs, and,
Okay.
it's just fun.
Yeah.
Like, I like Jason movies. This particular one,
It doesn't sound like it's like the other ones.
it's not.
Because there's a few. If I'm honest, there's a few of them that kind of feel like similar.
Yes. Yeah, this is different. My second one is in the same universe, and it is very different.
Okay. Well, hold on. Before you continue
I'm not
on
going
that.
there here.
Okay.
So the Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 8%. Only 8%.
8% fresh.
8% fresh.
We only threw 8%
But
at Rotten Tomatoes.
But let's be honest. Like Paul said, in Friday the 13th, in that category, there are some that are the same thing, just different characters. The same thing, just different characters. The same thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it when it kind of goes off script a little bit.
Yeah.
They're fun. And Jason Takes Manhattan. It's on a boat.
Yeah.
He's killing people. I mean, it's fun.
This particular Jason is Kane Hodder.
It is Kane
It's
Hodder.
his second appearance as Kane Hodder.
Hubba.
He has been noted as saying in interviews that the shot that they do and when they're in Times Square and it's him and they had all these people just surrounding him was the best moment in makeup as Jason that he ever played.
It's awesome.
Because he's like there.
Yeah.
In Times Square, it's just him, Times Square, and it's like, I'm taking it.
Well, and the reviews on it are not good. I mean, some of them are, they're like, oh, well, it's a little bit different. You know, it's not terrible. It, you know, gives you a different. And then some are like, oh, this is just the same thing. It lacks plot. It lacks, I mean, how you can call it Jason Takes Manhattan if it doesn't take place, the whole movie doesn't take place in Manhattan. And,
Well,
you gotta get to Manhattan, so.
Friday the 13th was always a panned franchise, though. I mean,
yeah.
if you've ever look at the old Siskel and Ebert reviews on any of the Friday the 13th movies.
Yeah.
What was it on one of them? A morally reprehensible piece of trash.
Yeah.
Yes.
The critic consensus on this one: Jason terrorizes a ship and nearly sinks the franchise in a clunky sequel that feels like a self-parody without the charm.
No, absolutely not. I love it. And I mean, am I wrong? Do you guys like that one, right?
I actually do.
Yeah.
See, and I'm real bad about not listening to what critics say. I'm real bad about not listening to what other people say either about movies. And they're like, well, you shouldn't watch this. Well, then I have to watch it.
Right?
Well, because you want to know what's so terrible.
You can ask Paul. I've made him subject me to some movies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I can say I've watched them now, so.
One audience review was after over an hour, Jason finally arrives in Manhattan, but doesn't take shit. Only making this another dull and miserably awful sequel that feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry that person's spouse made them watch the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, Karen, we understand. You don't like it.
Another one says, this movie's title should have been Jason Takes Manhattan, but it takes him over an hour to get there by ship.
That was kind of funny.
That's a nice flip. Yeah.
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 So, I actually like it. I love the boxing scene on the top of the building. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So do you have something in particular you really like? Like, I mean, you say it's fun, but is there a particular thing about this movie that you really like? Like, signature trait, characteristic, or anything?
Well, I mean, in all of the Friday the 13th, he's an unstoppable killing machine. Mm-hmm. And he just doesn't stay dead. Right. But it just feels like a departure from the norm for me in this. Mm-hmm. And that's what I really kind of like. Okay. So, I mean, you're still in the same kind of realm, but you're also in a whole different... Mm-hmm. In a whole different place.
Yep. Whole different place.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So, Jason Takes Manhattan.
Sure.
Yeah. You said you have two as well?
I have two as well.
Okay. What's one of yours?
The first one I've got is not necessarily a horror movie, but it graced the list, and it had quite a bit. There's some interesting things about the filming of said movie.
Okay.
So, first one I got is Nothing But Trouble, a 1991 comedy with directed by Dan Aykroyd. One of the few he got to actually lead, because Aykroyd wrote several movies, including Ghostbusters and everything, but they always usually got cleaned up because Aykroyd would get very into the nitty-gritty on any of his stories. Yeah. As is the case. And like for this one, they gave him $40 million to make a movie. He ended up going $5 million over budget.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And that's 1991 money, which, you know, at that point, like the budgets for movies or whatever were in the neighborhood of, I don't know, for a movie that it's a little ambitious for a comedy.
Yeah.
So the plot of said movie is based on. This like Nothing But Trouble came to be whenever Aykroyd went to go see Hellraiser, actually, with Robert K. Weiss, I believe. Mm-hmm. They just had oral surgery and didn't want to laugh, so they say, "Oh, we'll go watch a horror movie," and there were people in the audience laughing during Hellraiser.
Yeah.
and he said, "We'll make a horror comedy." And after a scrape with a speeding ticket where they got put through, quote, kangaroo court.
Right.
Like whenever you get pulled over and then you're like, you got to go see my uncle who's the judge here in the backwater or whatever. He's like, Aykroyd decided to took 6 months and turned that into a script.
Right.
So the plot of the movie is Chevy Chase and Demi Moore are a couple of yuppies who get pulled through a speed trap by John Candy as an officer and end up in Valkenvania.
Right, I forgot the name of it. Yeah.
Yes. And that's apparently an analog for Centralia, Pennsylvania.
Which is Silent Hill.
Yep. Anyways, so because they're argumentative. They're Chevy Chase, Demi Moore, and they're Brazilian, aren't they? The couple that he's with, Taylor Negron, Taylor Negron, who
Valerie
I haven't seen him
Bromfield.
in a long time. Anyways, they get brought in and see the judge, also played by Dan Aykroyd, Judge Alvin. I forget what his last name is, but he's in a ton of makeup to make him look like he is old as sin.
With a penis nose.
Yes.
It's Judge Alvin J.P. Valkenheiser.
Yes. Oh, yeah, Valkenheiser. But his court is founded in this old manor house that's surrounded by a junkyard with fires constantly going over.
Yeah. There
is a thing called a thresher, which makes an appearance towards the end. The bone thresher, which makes an appearance.
Yeah.
Basically, they look like this murderous speed trap. Like anybody that is unfortunate enough to break any minor law gets brought into this place, and if they're found wanting on moral grounds by the judge, they end up going through kind of death games in the junkyard.
Yeah,
it's horror as much as you could, like Looney Tunes meets Temple of Doom horror.
Pretty much. Before they have to go through the games, they get put in a holding area, which is the attic, covered in driver's licenses. Mm-hmm. One belonging to who's the guy that they're always looking for?
Jimmy Hoffa.
Hoffa, yeah.
Yep.
I wanted to say D.B. Cooper, but that wasn't right.
The thing that I really like about this movie is you can see Aykroyd's passion all over it.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, you cannot see Chevy Chase's passion all over it, because even though he drew the biggest paycheck, apparently behind the scenes he was constantly demoralizing Aykroyd in front of all of the people working for him. And Aykroyd was constantly going to bat for all of his set designers and his makeup effects, which is the heart and soul of that movie.
Oh yeah, because Aykroyd does 3 characters, I think. Mm-hmm. And then Candy's got 2 characters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then there's a special appearance by a musical artist.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Humpty Hump in the Digital Underground.
Oh yeah.
2 performances. Same song is the one, like, they get out of their speeding ticket by playing the you're expecting the judge to find them wanting and go through the bone thresher or whatever, but they play same song, this rap song, this synth rap song or whatever, and immediately the judge takes to it, starts dusts off the organ and starts playing along with them.
Oh yeah.
It's insane. It's very visually interesting. Now, if you look at the Rotten Tomatoes, the reason that critics gave it the score they did, let's see.
Yeah, they gave it a 13%.
13%. New York Times, a charmless feature-length joke about the world's most elaborate speed trap. Pretty concise.
Yeah.
Variety, the story turns into an extended maze with Chevy Chase and Demi Moore as the principal Nintendo-ized targets, running through one tepid peril after another while mouthing banal wisecracks. For Orlando Sentinel. For the most part, however, the humor depends upon the audience's finding the movie's repulsiveness funny.
Yeah.
I don't... Somehow, like, the fact that Chevy Chase is checked out works for it occasionally, because John Candy himself plays the twins. He plays Eldon and his sister. And the sister gets the hots for Chevy Chase.
Yeah.
And I'll say, like, some of that tends to work pretty well. And you can tell that Aykroyd is, wholly invested in that.
Oh, yeah. Because he plays the big giant baby, basically, with the diaper and
Bobo.
Yeah.
Yes, if somebody if I'm arguing right now, I'm not saying this is a perfect movie at all.
No.
I'm just going to tell you, it's as close as it's two things. It's about as close as you can get to live action Looney Tunes this side of Gremlins 2, the new batch.
Yeah.
And it's also not like anything you've ever watched. I can't think of much that reminds me of.
Comedically, about the closest I could think of would be Raising Arizona.
Maybe. That's fair.
Yeah. Critic consensus on this one. There's nothing good in Nothing But Trouble. A grotesque comedy that is more likely to make audiences ill than make them laugh. That's the consensus.
Yeah. I find it a pretty good adventure movie.
Yeah,
with
I enjoy it.
With some horror tropes.
I liked it so much about it.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. Like, I recommend it if you hadn't seen it. I don't know if it'll make you laugh. It might not, but at the same time, I don't think you'll ever get bored.
It would depend on your sense of humor.
Mm-hmm.
But if you like something that's a little out there and dark, you might enjoy it.
I love the set piece.
Oh, yeah.
The set design is all amazing.
Yeah. I love the courthouse. It kind of makes me think of Texas Chainsaw a little bit with the design of the junkyard and the house.
Aykroyd himself described it as in the vein of Texas Chainsaw and Beetlejuice whenever he was selling it.
I could see that.
I have to watch this movie. I have not seen it.
It's fun. It's a fun ride.
A fun ride on the Bone Thresher.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Who's next? That's Mike.
I'm Mike. I suppose I will go next. I only chose one. I was thinking of a second one, but I wasn't sure if I was going to pick another one because there were several in here that I actually enjoy myself.
I only picked two because I really wanted to talk about Nothing But Trouble, but there was one on the list that I was like, that is just good. I have no idea why it's on here.
Yeah.
I picked the other one. My second one is probably one of my favorites.
Right. But the one I picked is 2017's Rings, which is the third or fourth. I thought it was the fourth in the series. And they're at Rings 3. Am I wrong?
Hold on.
I remember Rings 1 and Rings 2, the Japanese Ringu 2, but I thought there was a third ring.
Hideo Nakata helmed one of the sequels. I think he helmed Ring 3. You're right.
Yeah, I thought
because there's an American and a Japanese Ring 1 and 2,
right.
And then there's Ring 3, which is sort of combined both.
Right, I thought so.
No.
Yeah.
Or no, that's the Grudge.
No, that's the Grudge.
Oh, is that the
Grudge.
Okay.
There's only two: the Ring 1,
Japanese
Ring 2, and Rings, and then Ring.
On the Japanese side, there's the movie Raisin, which is the prequel movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Rings, if you're unfamiliar, is about a video that you will watch, and it's very short. But then afterwards, almost immediately, you will get a phone call and told you have 7 days to live.
Dun, dun, dun.
7 days?
Wait, has it been 7 days for Monica yet?
Yes, it has, actually.
And it fell on her birthday?
Oh, man.
Good, damn.
But Rings only got an 8% on the tomato meter. Critics' consensus is Rings may offer ardent fans of the franchise a few threadbare thrills, but for everyone else, it may feel like an endless loop of muddled mythology and rehashed plot points. Mm-hmm. So in this one, the video actually goes from videotape from the original films and gets digitized. And a professor actually finds the original videotape in an old VCR that he buys at some antique store or something. Watches it, gets the call, and decides he's going to do an experiment on it. So he digitizes it and brings in several of his students to watch it. And then for the first time that I remember, if you get someone else to watch a copy that you've made, then your 7 days ends and you're safe.
Yeah.
Which I don't remember it happening that way in Ring 1 and 2.
That's the end plot twist for the first one.
Oh, was it?
Like that is how they beat it, because they think initially that they've solved the mystery of the kid Samara in
Samara.
the American. I'm too used to Sadako.
Oh.
Yeah.
And at the end, they find that what you have to do is you have to copy it and show it to somebody, and then you have to just keep it going. So it's like the video version of the STD from It Follows.
Oh, okay.
might
Or
be
kind of like Truth or Dare.
A little bit.
You get someone else to take the dare, then it's off of you. Remember that, Heather?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you only prolong.
Yeah.
But this one, one of the people that ends up as part of the experiment, his girlfriend, which he left back in his hometown, calls him, and then she can't get a hold of him anymore because he's involved in this. She doesn't know it. She goes to find out what's going on, finds out that he's part of this experiment, ends up watching it to save his life because she's told if she watches a copy, then, the person that watched it previously gets eliminated from their 7 days or whatever. So she watches it, and then she starts getting more information from the video than anybody else. To which the professor's like, wait a minute, your video's longer, and there's added footage that nobody else's video has. What's going on? So
Remix.
And it leads them back to kind of like in part 2 where they find out who Samara is, go to the town, try to dig into her past to see if they can beat it. The only difference is in this one they actually take it a little further and they find out who Samara's father and mother are, how she got to where she was. Her mother was kidnapped by a priest and subdued in the basement of the church, ends up pregnant. The priest is played by Vincent
D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he blinds himself so he doesn't have to see her because Samara would appear to him too. And if he can't see her, then she can't do anything, evidently.
So
Which I found kind of odd.
She's just standing in front of him, tapping her foot.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn it. I thoroughly enjoy this one because I like that it goes further back into the history. I'm a history buff anyway, so that's why I like Hellraiser 4.
I liked it.
I don't understand why it was on this list, personally. But some of the reviews weren't that great.
Yeah.
Like, let's see. Moviefreak.com says, Rings proved to be nothing short of a complete waste of time, and if this video ended up on my laptop, tablet, or any other digital device, I'd delete it off on the hard drive within seconds, without a second's hesitation. Okay.
And
And
who cares?
whatever. Don't watch it then. You won't get the call. 7 days.
Right?
Rings is an unfortunate and often incomprehensible mess that kicks off with a neat premise and then never fully explores it. The Austin Chronicle. What's wrong with you?
They're weird.
They're weird.
I went to the theater and saw that one.
Yeah. Well, I pre-ordered it when it came out to VOD. One audience person, but Rings attempts to reboot the franchise for the digital age and fails horribly. The story follows a teenage girl who attempts to save her boyfriend by coping and watching an infamous video that supposedly kills you 7 days after watching it. However, her digital copy turned out to contain additional footage that she comes to believe, this is a long one, believes was meant for her, leading her to go in search of its meaning. Once again, tries to make Samara a sympathetic victim. Doesn't work. On and on. I don't know. I find it a fun movie. The opening I really enjoy because it's all on a plane. And it starts out with a guy going, I just watched this film and it said I was going to die in 7 days. And today's that day. I have 7 minutes. And the girl on the plane next to him's like, what? And then a video shows up on all the little screens in the airplane. And the airplane crashes. And I was like, that's a good way to start.
Right?
Yeah.
But why didn't the rest of the passengers get 7 days? They got like 7 minutes.
Luck of the draw, I guess.
I guess.
No patience.
No patience. But yeah, I would highly recommend it if you like the Rings movies. I need to go back and rewatch the Japanese ones because they are a little more intense than the Americanized versions.
Yeah.
We should do that soon.
We should.
I've got the first one on Blu-ray.
Aren't both of them on Shudder still?
Well, all three of them are.
Yeah. All right. So, Miss Chris,
Yes.
what did you pick? What'd you watch?
Okay, so going through the list, I was like, oh, I'll get that one. And then I was reading the text messages from this morning going, fuck, they all picked it up. Damn, they got that one.
Be quicker on the
Okay,
draw, Chris.
fine. I have to find something else. So I was looking, and I was like, oh my god, Jaws is on here. Why is Jaws on here? And then I saw, oh wait, Shudder. Why is Shudder on here? Shudder was good.
No, but you got to preface that it wasn't Jaws. It was
It was
Jaws
Jaws
3D.
the 3.
No,
it was
Jaws
4, I
4.
think.
Jaws Revenge.
No, it was
Revenge.
Jaws Revenge.
The one with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where they go back
The
to
one
Yeah.
where the shark is out for revenge.
Right.
Oh, it's silly, but I like
So
it.
Silly, but
I was going through it and I was looking and I was like, oh, Shudder's on. Wait, Shudder? Why is Shudder on here? Shudder was good. So, if you don't know what it is, it's actually an Asian horror movie. It's pretty good. The original is. It takes it way darker than, of course, the Americans do. But pretty much the basis of the movie, and I'm gonna do spoilers, so spoiler
We
alert,
went over the
darling.
entire
Spoiler
plot
alert.
for Jason Takes Manhattan.
Right?
everything.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, not quite everything, but
most of
Most
it.
everything.
So we meet this newlywed couple, and one of them is a photographer.
How sweet.
So, and they're in New York, and love in New York. Aww.
this is the remake, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's the remake.
Gotcha.
This is American.
The
With
American
the-
side. Okay, so then
The dude from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
hang on, I'll tell you his name. My phone
What's
is
his
going
name,
dark.
Paul?
Joshua
The guy-
Jackson.
Yeah, that
Joshua
dude.
Pacey
And-
from the Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
Yes, and Rachel Taylor is the bride.
Okay.
Joshua, the guy, gets a job in Japan
No.
working for some of his buddies that he knew back in the day.
Yep.
And
As a fashion photographer.
as a fashion photographer. And so he goes over there with his new bride. And of course, she's driving. It's late at night. And she thinks she hits a human. So she's freaking out, thinking she's hit this girl that was in the road.
She shouldn't be in the road.
But there's no one there.
It's an apparition.
What?
I know.
And that's when you jump at the person by the campfire.
That's right.
Boogie boogie.
Police search, they can't find a body. And that goes on. So they get to where they're going, which is a nice little cabin. Aw, honeymoon.
In the woods?
Yes.
By Mount Fiji.
Of course, it's in the
Oh.
woods.
In Suicide Forest?
That'd
Not
be
quite.
better if it
Oh.
was.
That'd be amazing.
Be like whoever it was.
Just did.
So then you come to find out that this guy that she's married to, recently got married to, was dating a Japanese girl who...
From the before times.
From the before times. Megumi Okina is the actress's name. And she plays... Actually, I think she plays Megumi in the...
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, they just changed the last name. Yeah. She plays a ex-girlfriend of his that apparently she walked away from her family to be with him because he was American. And he ended up wanting to try to break it off, but it didn't happen. So his friends, his 3 buddies, hatched a plan to get her drunk, drug her, and proceed to take pictures and rape her. She, in turn, kills herself.
Such good friends.
I know. She, in turn, kills herself.
Master plan.
By drinking cyanide. Comes back, haunts the newlywed couple.
That's a harsh way to take your own life.
Yeah, cyanide.
Cyanide?
Yeah.
Kills the friends.
Yep.
And rightfully so. I mean, the entire time she's actually trying to protect the new wife.
Yeah, she's protecting her.
Yeah. But it is not horror-based like slash 'em, dash 'em.
It's not a slasher film.
No, it's more psychological and thriller kind of thing mixed into it. So
because he's a photographer, he takes pictures, and they're skewed.
They're ghost pictures, ghost images. Yeah. So like pictures of like, the balls of lights or the little wispies that you see. A lot of times in photography, of course, it can be explained: light, dust, bugs.
But this could not.
But these could not. And in Japan, it's very... They
have a whole society.
Oh, yes.
Of ghost photography.
Yes, people that
like a magazine that's devoted to it.
Yeah.
There is an actual magazine, yes.
Yeah.
However, I don't know the name of it. But... it said that the images of the dead come back to those of the living so that they can protect or warn or settle debts or, unfinished business, so to speak. But anyways, this made the list, and I didn't understand why at first. But then I understood that...
Juxtapose?
There you go.
Juxtapose?
Juxtapose.
That's an art magazine.
No, that's not it.
I don't know anything about art.
No, that's not it. That's an art magazine.
I only went to art school.
They got some zany stuff in there.
No, it's an underground one.
Oh. Well, damn.
Yeah, I know. Honestly, Dawson's Creek, he's a little overdramatic as, the husband, but I think the girls, acting and playing off of it and finding out everything about what her husband did beforehand, spot on. And
Megumi does a good job. She
does a amazing job.
She was actually in the original Japanese Grudge.
Yes.
Ju-on.
In case you guys didn't know.
And this was during a whole time that a lot of
remakes were happening from
American films were taking from the Japanese. We had The Grudge during that time. We had The Eye and The Ring.
Oh, yeah.
Shutter.
This kind of got lost in the shuffle of all that. I mean, it is actually really good.
I enjoyed it.
So when I saw it on The Ring, I was like, that's the one.
Why is it on the list?
Why is it on the list? Well, the list says because it was an American remake that was it was just a sad horror movie. The twists and turns never delivered, and horror moments were just as cliche moments.
I mean, it kind of it's sad, but that's by design.
Yeah.
The tomato meter gave it a 9%.
9. That's it.
Critic consensus was
worse than Nothing But Trouble.
Yeah. Critics' consensus was being a remake of a Thai horror film instead of Japanese doesn't prevent Shudder from being another lame Asian horror remake.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like
Who's the director on Shudder?
Masayuki Ochai?
No, that was the original. No, wait.
No?
No. Masayuki Ochi is the... Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of these reviewers are not horror fans. Because a lot of horror movies get shuffled around and given bad reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not, quote unquote, mainstream.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, but...
Well, here's one for Shudder.
Hang on.
From Entertainment Weekly, which is supposed to be all about entertainment. Their thing is, will the next terror-minded remake involve a possessed telegraph machine or a grudge-minded ox and cart?
Well,
I mean...
Okay,
yes.
Little do they know they'd have 2 about cell phones coming up.
That's true.
So I do have to say this, though. Reading some of the reviews on Movies and Mania, I really did kind of agree with this one. And the guy who wrote it is called Dorkgasm.
Okay.
It's difficult to say the least if you're an antagonist who you know is justified. In fact, after you realize what jerks Ben and his pals are, you'll probably end up cheering for the ghost. And even as Jane does her best Naomi Watts impression, all in all, avoid the film if you can. I would agree, except for the last part. I would not avoid the film. But I would agree that you are going to be rooting for the ghost.
You definitely are rooting for Miyumi.
Yes.
Megumi.
Which, I mean, is not uncommon.
Miyumi?
Megumi?
Megumi?
Which, I mean, it's not uncommon in the world of ghost stories. There's lots of ghost stories where the ghost is justified in the end.
Well, yeah.
So it reportedly did 47,879,410 theatrically against the budget of $8 million.
Success.
Oh.
Well, depending on advertising distribution.
Yeah.
I think one reason that a lot of these get the reviews they get in America is because they're not familiar with the fact that the Japanese are very into their ghost stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like the way we see them, we're like, oh, paranormal activity. Ooh. Over there, they're like, oh shit, don't mess with the ghosts. Don't fuck with them. They will get you.
Sorry for the under my breath cursing.
Oh.
I hit the little knobby thing on the side of your ankle.
Oh, don't do
On
that.
my
It fucking hurts. Don't do it.
granite and wrought iron coffee table. It hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at some of the reviewers
Don't take
on
your
this.
granite for granted.
Some of their critic reviewers is like E-Splatter, Cinema Crazed, Time Out, theshiznit.co.uk, IGN Movies, Austin Chronicle, Film School Rejects. So I mean, it's not like huge, people like I don't know, Vogue or the big boys.
Mm-hmm.
So, but would you recommend it?
Yes. Highly.
Highly?
Yes.
Both versions of it.
All of it?
Both versions.
Okay. All right. So, you had a second one, Paul?
I did have a second one.
What's your second one, Paul?
What's your second one, Paul?
You want to take yours first or mine? Okay. The reason I came up with this list in the first place was because of this movie right here. And I'm very bewildered because normally movies that end up on these lists, you can look at the audience score or later on and say, oh, well, they find their audience later, I guess.
Right.
That does not seem to be the case with this. And I only know people that like this.
Troll 2.
White Noise.
Oh, White Noise.
With Michael Keaton.
Love that movie.
That was pretty good.
Yeah. 7% on the Rotten Tomato meter.
That's even less than Shudder.
Yes. 31% audience score, which is the one that is updated.
Oh.
And I was out of 100,000 plus ratings. And, like, I'm mystified by that. I will, because much like Shudder came out during the Asian remake craze, White Noise came out whenever there was, like, a dramatic ghost story. Like, Hollywood seemed to have a thing for dramatic ghost stories, whether they were about the supernatural phenomena. They had Dragonfly and Mothman prophecies and stuff. And while Dragonfly has a 7% as well on Rotten Tomatoes, the audience score is significantly higher on Dragonfly.
Really?
And I do not like that movie. I mean, no offense if you do, but that movie just died in the last act to me.
Yeah.
And Mothman prophecies I do like, but I don't think that White Noise is that much much better or worse or whatever.
Right.
Like they're kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
So White Noise is based around the world of EVP, which I'm not going to get that acronym right if I don't look at it.
Electronic voice phenomena.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, in pretense, is if you run a digital recorder or microcassette recorder or what have you in a empty room, quiet, and you ask questions, presumably you can catch disembodied voices on the recording.
Yeah.
To which people believe is speaking with the dead.
Sure.
I had to leave the room. What movie are we talking about?
White Noise.
White Noise.
Okay, gotcha. Sorry. That's
seen-
what I thought, but I
yeah.
wanted to make sure.
You seen it?
I have. It's been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Been a while.
But I'm gonna flat out say when I tell you this plot, it's gonna seem very familiar. But with these types of movies, it's all in how they're done.
Right.
And like there's a pretty good third act for this movie that I was not expecting the first time I saw it. So it centers around Michael Keaton playing an architect named Jonathan Rivers, who's happily married when his wife unfortunately dies in a car accident. He's approached by a man who believes fiercely in EVP and says that he's been recording messages that he is certain is from Anna beyond the grave, trying to reach her or trying to reach him. First doesn't believe him, then he starts getting some of the messages start hitting on things that are going on in his life, kind of like things that this guy he thinks is a sham wouldn't know otherwise. He starts recording like static on the TV and starts getting messages, but the messages may not be coming from who he thinks they're coming from, even though they're leading him into areas where he might be saving the loved ones of people that he's getting messages from.
Right.
Yeah. I really like, and like I said, it's got a third act. It's got Michael Keaton in it. It's got Deborah Kara Unger in it. I thought someone who was in a lot of movies then just kind of vanished.
Who was that?
Deborah Kara Unger. She was in Silent Hill, The Game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, it's a solid one. If those types of movies are your jam, if you happen to be one of those that like Dragonfly and didn't see White Noise, it's better than 7%.
I would think so.
And I mean, I've got a bias. I like Keaton, but
how can you not? I mean, he's great in just about anything he does.
Yeah.
Critics' consensus on this one: while there are some built-in scares, the movie is muddled and unsatisfying.
Yeah.
Muddled.
There's, one of the like whenever I was looking through these, like the most recent review is from last year because it got a Blu-ray release, so it got re-reviewed, and they're still ripping into it.
Yeah.
And like, I get some of the things they talk about. They talk about some jump scares. The movie definitely has some of those built-in jump scares for the year. That's related to the year it came out. It's 2007, is it?
2005.
2005. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it came out for streaming in 2016.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. And we talked about the sequel. I know you said you're not a fan. The sequel had some things going for it. I'll say that. And I will say that if you're really into EVP and you believe firmly in it, this movie only uses it as a plot device.
Yeah.
It's not going to Oh, see, there you go. They really know their stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, if you think you're going to be getting like Ghost Adventures type stuff through this, you're no.
Right.
No.
You'll get. Oh, I caught something. But there was the one guy he talks to that's supposed to be an expert in EVP.
Yeah, it's the guy that brings him into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one who's getting the messages from Anna.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the reviews are not good.
A lot of them are not good.
Yeah, the soundtrack and crackling static contorting into mysterious moans creates a chilling mood, but the characters are so thin. Okay.
Fine.
If that's what you think that. Empire Magazine.
I'm not saying you're going to rush out and buy the 4K, but, you know.
Why not?
Well, maybe you will, but...
Well, maybe not the 4K because I don't know if I got converted, but Blu-ray at least.
It's worth a
VOD
watch.
at the minimal, okay? VOD.
It's worth a watch.
Definitely. I think I saw that in the theater when it came out.
I'm pretty sure I was working at the video store at that time, and I don't remember many people panning it. So I was very surprised to see it on this list.
Yeah?
Yep.
And then Heather has one final.
I do, and I'm still in Friday the 13th.
Oh, are you?
I am.
You are?
I am.
just doesn't
What,
wanna leave that
what day of the
genre.
week is it?
Friday the 13th.
Oh, okay.
But this one on the list was Jason X. It's one of the higher rated ones amongst our picks here.
Mm-hmm.
But I absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
Like, it is a go-to. If I'm having a bad day, I can turn it on. It makes me giggle, and it's just fun.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, who doesn't want an Uber, Jason? Come on now.
My favorite one.
See? So, in Rotten Tomatoes, it got a 20%.
Was that the
I'll
highest score?
I'll be honest. When you told me it was 20%, I thought it was higher than I thought it would be.
I did too. I really thought it was going to be lower.
Because
on
when this movie came out, just on sheer trailers, people were panning this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So what happens is it's like 2008, and the U.S. government has captured Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so they're trying to figure out what to do with him. Well, one of these doctor scientist people, she wants to freeze him in cryostasis. Is that the correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Freeze him in cryostasis. Well, so the government's idea is that they can use him as a killing machine. And then all the bad things ensue. He breaks free, kills the army guys, and then she lures him into the cryostasis unit and is looking at him, and he stabs with his hockey knife. What his hockey knife?
His hockey knife. Man, hockey is a violent
it's
sport.
You know what I mean? You see his face in the hockey mask, and he stabs his knife through the door and cuts her. And then they both end up in cryostasis.
Says, I cut you, man.
And then, 445 years later, they get unfrozen
445
on
years.
board a spaceship.
Who decided this
24,
number of how many years? This is what I want to know.
What?
Who decided how many years?
I don't know. I
mean,
But, so, they find them, and they bring them back aboard their ship, which is like it's kind of like they're all students.
Mm-hmm.
They're either extremely dorky or extremely
Horny.
naughty.
Except for one guy
Naughty.
with his robot.
Well, he's the nerdy one.
Yeah.
yeah.
And a
Always
bunch
gotta have
of
one.
soldiers on this
Yes.
ship. And so they decide that they're going to thaw these two out. The girl is fine. But they decide they're going to thaw Jason out. And by doing it, they use
Idiots.
the little nano...
Machines.
Yeah, the little nanites.
Yeah.
And they make him into Uber Jason, who is able to regenerate himself. And he freezes a girl's face off. He puts it in the...
Cannibal salad.
And then just like slams it on there. And just half a face.
Oh, that's
and
the
regrows
one that
an
has my favorite
eye.
kill in it.
Which one?
It's where Jason shoves the guy backwards and he falls on the giant.
Oh, on
thing.
the giant
and he just
screw,
spins.
and he
Yes.
lands on this giant almost
Drill
like a
bit.
drill bit, and then he's spinning around, and he goes all the way through his body, all the way down, and then he stops.
I love that.
Love that.
I think the girls, when we watched it, they were just getting into the horror stuff, and they loved it. That's when they came up with Righteous Kill Flawless.
Yeah.
Like from Mortal Kombat.
Oh,
Yeah.
they threw in a whole bunch of other ones too, and it was just I at first I was like, should I stop them? But then they kept getting, Righteous Kill, and they would really get into it, and it's like, how do you stop that?
Who doesn't want Jason in space?
I'm
with
just
a
saying.
Special suit of armor.
Oh,
and
and
you
the
can't
sleeping
kill
bag.
him, and the sleeping bag. Oh yes.
So okay,
The
there is
simulation.
There is a story behind that. Do you know that?
I think so, but I'll let you tell it.
Story was that there were so many takes on Jason picking up the sleeping bag that had the simulated camper in it, slamming against the tree, that Kane, by the end of the so many takes, was so exhausted, and the sleeping bag was actually slipping in his hands.
Uh-huh.
He was pissed off, picked it up and slammed it against the tree, and that one take was technically the final take that they took.
Right. It's a good one. But it's just fun. I know I describe things as fun, but it really is. It's not.
You're the only friend of mine that I know that describes blood and torture and gore as much as I can and use the word fun in it.
Fun. Me and Paul
Unless we're doing the effects. Then
Right.
you're all like, you're like a kid at Christmas that has all the toys, and I am too, but I mean,
I know.
I get to make the toys.
Yes. But, I mean, okay, so a positive review it got, it says, as far as a B horror movie goes, with camp and cheese, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Literally,
and
that's
cheese.
the review.
I like that.
But another guy, he said that whatever they paid Canadian horror, I don't know how to say that word, A-U-T-E auteur David Cronenberg to appear in this godforsaken mess, it wasn't enough. But
I get the feeling that Cronenberg wanted to be there. So.
I think so too.
Yeah, he likes doing that type of stuff.
And his kill was great.
hold on, there's another one.
So if you look for
Where is
Cronenberg
it?
cameos, you're like, oh, there he is. He's in Jason X. Oh, there he is. He's in Nightbreed. Oh, he's in The Stupids.
Yeah, critics' consensus on this one is Jason goes to the future, but the story is still stuck in the past.
Yeah.
Oh, you're so clever.
I was hoping for another one afterwards because at the end, he lands on another planet. I was like, we just need to take it from there.
Oh yeah, he does, but it still has the Camp Crystal Lake in it.
It's probably
Every
Camp Alien
planet.
Lake. Who knows?
Every planet has a Camp Crystal
Every
Lake.
planet. This one came out in 2002, so that's why it's got a little more of the digital stuff in it.
Yep.
Lisa Ryder as the robot. It's kind of funny. There's a funny scene in there.
Oh, there is a funny scene about her nipples.
Yes.
Why do you want those things? Janessa has those things. But Janessa's, what, real? That's the same.
I just
And
love her
scene.
expressions.
Yeah.
They're so,
Yeah, it's great.
yeah,
And then when she gets all decked out and,
body armor and everything.
yeah.
Oh Lord, yeah.
Also has one of our favorite lines. It's okay, everybody.
He just wants his machete back.
Machete back. Okay, guys. It's okay. He just
okay.
wants his machete back.
Just wants his machete back. But it's a fun movie. It's one of my favorite Fridays also. Although that one and the previous film rarely get put into the Friday the 13th box sets because neither one of them have that in the title. They're
Yeah.
just Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X.
Okay, so then I have a question for you three.
Us three?
What
Why not for everybody?
out of all the bad horror movies we've seen, and we've seen a whole lot.
That's like our thing.
That's our thing, our jam. What are your 2 picks?
For
For what?
Worst horror movies you've seen.
Snow Sharks.
Snow Sharks.
We didn't make it 10 minutes.
Yep.
And we're real bad about watching real bad horror movies. I like the campier, the better. The campier, the crappier, we've seen, what is it?
Trees Given.
Treevenge.
Treevenge. That
Which was a
horrible
little
one.
nine
A little 9-minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About Christmas trees coming
I
for revenge.
lost.
It's great.
20 minutes of my life on that one.
Oh, it was fine. It was fine.
Stupid.
I know it was.
That was the point.
It was right there with Snow Shark that we never made it through. We didn't even make it through a third of the film.
So I really enjoy those bad B-rated movies. I just do.
Like
Um,
Killer Tomatoes.
Attack of the Killer Donuts.
Ah!
Uh-huh.
Killer
What?
Clowns.
Microwave Massacre?
That's a good
Oh,
one, too.
that was a good one.
Just,
Chopping Mall.
the
I
only
love Chopping
problem,
Mall.
The only
Chopping
problem
Mall's
with Microwave
good.
Massacre is
Jack Frost.
no.
That was a horrible one.
Yes, but the voice of the serial killer
What's that one?
in Microwave Massacre is the same voice as Frosty the Snowman.
It is.
And so you hear him having sex,
Yeah.
scar you for life.
Come on, Paul. Your turn.
The stuff I like is the stuff I really hate tends to be rated higher. Actually,
Yep.
I really dislike the movie Gravy.
Yeah.
It is a horror comedy from the guy from Psych. Whatever his name is, the partner from Psych.
Yeah.
Yeah. It starts off pretty promising, and then it ends up being a restaurant invasion cannibal movie. It's silly. Like, it's real silly, but they make you care about the characters too much. And it's not like these guys are going to take them out. No, anybody that's not part of the cannibal crew is victims, except for like 1 or 2. And it's just like, why did you make these characters relatable before you started into this?
Right.
And now you're using frickin' America's Funniest Home Video style sound effects for these death games that are grotesque. And I'm like, I can't get behind this at all.
Okay.
Did they throw a Wilhelm in there or two?
Yeah. But what'll typically be the death knell in a horror movie for me? Boring.
Yeah.
If it's if it takes itself too seriously, if it just kind of drones on, and I can't give you examples because in general I'll forget them.
Yeah.
Because there have been so many.
Yeah. There's some that just take themselves way too
Yeah,
serious.
because I love the ghost. I love the ghost stories, and mediocre ghost stories are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is that I like a movie that doesn't take itself too seriously. Psst.
We have charades going on.
Yes.
We have to act out these horror movies once in a while because we're like, I don't remember the name. This.
But I mean, it seems like for us, the kind of more out there, like,
We like the bizarre.
so the worse the horror movie, the better for this group.
Pretty much.
And
Always.
I've
I
seen
even-
Birdemic 5 times.
I like Birdemic. I'm with Paul. I like it. I like it.
It makes me happy when I'm in a bad mood.
Birdemic does?
Yes.
Oh yes,
It's fantastic. That's
it's
like,
so awful.
like
She hasn't seen the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
No.
Oh, you need
Okay,
to.
well, time out. Yeah.
the solar
okay.
panels.
On the other hand, you're the reason I had to watch Genetic Opera the other time, and now I got that damn song stuck in my head.
Well, you paid me back, okay? And then I paid Paul.
Good.
Yep,
There's
it all
there's
came
a lot
back.
of-
It all
Paul.
came
A
back.
lot of payback in this.
Yeah. But, I mean, we even like the ones that are shown on, like, a certain channel.
Vivid.
Playboy?
Yes.
Pornhub?
I don't know if I can say it.
That should not be named.
The channel.
What channel?
The Shudder.
The Sci-Fi Channel?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sure they'd be glad to have some free publicity.
I'm sure they
I
would
just-
too.
I didn't know if I could say it or not. But anyways, so like Sharknado.
Do we have to pay royalties?
Oh my God.
That's right.
Sharknado is the best. I'm sorry. Yes, the whole point of that series is that it's a dumb movie.
It's terrible. It's supposed to be bad.
But you watch it for the kills to see
We've-
who's in it and who dies.
Oh,
and I
it's-
can honestly say I've seen all of them.
Yes.
Oh, we had parties. We had
Every time they
Sharknado
had
parties.
carpet
Yeah.
parties.
because we would have our parties, and we even have a shark head that we take pictures in with a mask,
Yep.
like a mask, but like we would have whole like watching parties. So we'd
Yeah.
watch the first one, and then the next one would come out, and it would show the first one and the second one. So we'd
Yeah.
watch both, and then the third one we watched 1, 2, and 3
Yep.
until it got to what?
5.
5.
Yeah, and we would start at like 11 in the morning and go till like 10 at night watching these Sharknado movies.
What was so funny is that, you know, we would be here all day and we
All
would
day.
actually
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it
Oh,
over
yeah.
and over again, and it was hilarious.
Yeah. My
Yeah. And we watch them all. Sharktopus versus whatever. Werewolf or whatever. Or Crocosaurus.
Two-headed shark.
5-headed shark. All of them.
Yep.
Lavalantula. Watch them all. Watch
Two
them
lava,
all.
two landshell.
Yeah.
yeah, but
8-legged freaks.
my main thing with pitching this particular episode though is any of these movies, you know, they get trashed. Like somebody spends an hour and a half watching it, and they go,
Right.
"Oh, I kind of deem that's not good, and I'm a critic, so I get to voice my opinion for this."
Right.
And like, I'm not even going to take the time to think about like the effort that went into it.
Yeah.
All these movies, like even the trashiest movies that you watch,
Oh, yeah.
they take effort, and it's not just one person. It's your writers, your directors, your actors, everything.
Yeah, I mean, Killer Tomatoes or Killer Clowns or any of those. They take effort, they take money, they take preparation, they take equipment, they take people, and that's why you see the things in the beginning of the films now. Piracy is not a victimless crime.
Yep.
These people don't get paid if you don't pay for it,
That's right.
Stop killing the arts.
right? But
Because that's kind of what you do. I mean, you're killing their jobs.
Yep.
it's like the guy on YouTube, the everything wrong with this movie in
Cinema
7
Sin.
minutes or whatever.
Yeah, Cinema Sense.
Yeah. He takes his job a little too seriously to really scrub through that movie and go, oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. Oh, that's wrong. It's not an
But
exact science.
sometimes the errors
Are hilarious.
are what makes it a great movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like sometimes, like Chris was saying in Jason X about the scene with the sleeping bag.
Yeah.
The very last shot they got was just because he was pissed off and tired and exhausted, and that was the one they went with.
Yeah, because initially the director was like, it was supposed to be like 2 or 3 hits.
Yeah.
And he finally just got pissed off. He was tired of it slipping out of his hands. He just grabbed it, slammed it, and they went, you know what? The one hit's more effective.
Yeah. Yeah.
Those happy accidents.
So, it's happy accidents. That's why they're called happy accidents.
Yeah.
But tell us what you all think. Some of your favorite bad movies.
Yes, let us know.
Maybe we haven't seen it.
Maybe
We'll go
we
watch it.
Yes.
And then we'll give our critique to it.
Ooh,
and-
you know which one we did forget?
What?
Feed me, Seymour.
What?
Where does that one rate on the scale?
I don't know.
High.
That should be
really
high. That should be the top of the list high.
They
Are
probably
we
didn't get
talking the
100.
'80s one? Or are we talking the original?
We're talking
I'm talking about the 80s version that came out with Rick Moranis
Steve Martin?
in it.
I mean,
Well,
that's
he was in it too, but he was also in the remake as well.
I can't imagine. Oh, of course.
Okay, so we're figuring this out.
MDBuzz got it as a 7 out of 10.
Hold on.
and
Meta
maybe,
has it as an 81.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
go through all the lists. We'll go through IMDb.
No, we don't need to do that.
Oh, okay. Let's not do that.
90% fresh.
Yeah.
90?
Although, for some reason, the screen cap above it is Toxie.
Huh.
I don't know why that is, but okay. Whatever. Yeah, that one's in my top 10. So,
I mean, it's just amazing, you know. You gotta love that one.
But, you know, back in the 80s, that was how if a critic rated it high, we knew we had to go see it. We
Right.
didn't want to go see it because they rated it high. If they hated it,
That's
we
exactly
had to go
what
see
we
it.
had to go see.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you don't know what we're talking about, it's the Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I forgot the name.
Well, I was trying to get her to say it by saying "Feed me, Seymour," but you know,
Well,
I was busy fast fingering it. Okay, come
Seymour
on.
already
Blue
ate.
List over
Whoa.
there.
Whoa.
whoa now.
On the keyboard, guys. Come on.
Well, a lot of boys come on the keyboard.
Whoa.
That's not technically what we're talking about.
I was typing it in with my fast fingers on the computer to pull up the score.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That's what was happening.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
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 But yeah, tell us some of your favorite, bad horror movies, or what's classified as a bad horror movie. The B-side movie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Let us know what those are. We take a look if we haven't seen it. We'll give our little point of view on it.
Right.
Don't forget to give us a review. If you're interested in figuring out where you can go and subscribe to us, just head over to fearcentral.net. And we've got everything under the About page. All 17, 18, 20 places you can go to pick from.
That's a lot.
Anywhere from Apple to Google to... We're on Amazon now.
Spreaker.
You can just go to your Alexa and, hey, Alexa, play Fear Central Podcast. And there it is.
Fantastic.
Love
Yep.
it.
On cave walls,
Cave walls, we're
Pictographs.
everywhere. Sides of UFOs.
etch and sketches.
Light brights. We're
Love
everywhere.
it. Fantastic.
But we do hope that y'all have a really great week. Check out some of these movies that we've mentioned if you haven't seen them already. We will see y'all again next week. And as always,
Stay scared.